remove the wheel, use a 22mm socket. Carefully take these caps off and remove the lug nuts. Remove the wheel. Now we're going to remove the caliper. Take these caliper slide bolts out. Use a T55. Break them both free. And you can compress the caliper a little bit just to make it easier to come off. Use a straight blade screwdriver. Slide the caliper off. Use a brake caliper hanger tool and hang the caliper so there's no tension on the brake hose. Take the brake pads off. If you have to, use a screwdriver or a pry bar. Just pry them out. Remove these two caliper bracket bolts. Use an 18mm socket. And grab the bracket and just slide it off. Then grab the rotor and slide it off. If it doesn't come off that easy and it's stuck on, just use a hammer and hit in these locations. Just be careful of the studs. You don't want to damage the studs. If your hub has any rust buildup on it or it seems corroded, take a wire brush or a grinder and just lightly sand it down. Get rid of some of that surface rust. I'm going to put a thin coat of anti-seize on the hub. Take the rotor, put it on backwards first. Then we'll take some brake parts cleaner, wash the back side of the rotor, use a rag and wipe it. And flip the rotor around. If you want to, you can take a lug nut. And this will just hold the rotor on temporarily, make it a little easier. And wash this side down with brake parts cleaner. And wipe it down. You want to clean up the brake caliper bracket. Just use a pick or a screwdriver. Take the old pad slides off. Take a wire brush. Just clean this, clean any debris off, any rust. When that's cleaned up, then just take a little brake caliper grease. Put a nice thin coat. Take the pad slide. Put that back on. Another thin coat of grease. Just where the pad's gonna hit. And then do the same on the other side. Now you can clean up the caliper slide pins or the bolts to hold on the caliper. Use a little brake parts cleaner and wipe these off. And if these were severely rusted or corroded, you're going to want to clean out the holes for the bracket. You can do that with just brake parts cleaner and a rag. Take some brake caliper grease and put it on the pins. Do the same on the other one. Take the caliper bracket, slide it over the rotor. With the caliper bolts, you can add some thread lock adhesive if you choose to. And tighten those up. Start them and tighten them. Torque these bolts to 129 foot-pounds. Install the brake pads. Take the brake caliper and take the hanger off. Flip it upside down. Take a brake caliper compressor tool and compress the caliper. As you compress the brake caliper, the piston is pushing fluid through the brake hoses up through the master cylinder into the reservoir. Just go nice and slow. And take the caliper and slide it over the brake pads. And put the guide pins back in, or the bolts. And torque these to 80 foot-pounds. Put this on. Put the lug nuts on. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts down to 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Now just go around again, double check. And put this cap on and just tighten down these caps. Just do this by hand.